Narrators of tales and sweet-spoken storytellers have said that in the ancient days, there was a city whose ruler was a just and wise man. During his reign, he ruled the people with goodness and fairness, and no one suffered injustice. Until one day, due to years of drought, the skies refused to rain, the springs and rivers dried up, and the crops withered. A famine came, a drought so severe that turned the faces of the people pale like the moon. Gradually, hunger spread and cries filled the houses. People grew desperate. With all their strength, they stormed the ruler's palace and pleaded for help. The ruler, who had gold and jewels stored, gave them away to the people. But as the famine persisted, he had nothing left to offer, until he remembered a very precious jewel on his ring, a gem so rare and valuable that nowhere else in the world could one find its equal. A commander in the value of jewels, it was said to shine even more than the star of Venus. The king sat and thought deeply, until he came to the conclusion that he should sell the ring's gem to neighboring countries, and use the money to save his people from hunger. The just ruler could not bear to see his people starve while he enjoyed peace and comfort. He believed that valuable things were meant to serve people in times of need. He saw his people restless and crying, while he himself could not rest in peace. They say you should not keep treasures when your people are crying and grieving. Woe to the one who drinks sweet water, while people suffer thirst and pain. The king's close advisers tried to dissuade him, saying, "Oh, just ruler! This gem on your ring is extremely valuable. If you sell it, you won't find another like it." They blamed him for giving away the gem, saying such treasures should not be parted with. They saw it foolish to sell and give, to show mercy and generosity to others. But the king sold the gem to a neighboring country and used the money to buy bread, food, and necessities for his people. For a while, although short, the people were saved from hunger. They thanked God and praised the king for his generosity and longed for his long life. For a whole week, he gave away his treasure to the poor, the needy, and the hungry. The king's close advisers began to speak to him again and said, "Oh, just king! Did you see how much that ring's gem was worth? The money from just 1 week of its sale wasn't enough. That gem was worth much more than what the buyer paid. They took advantage of your generosity. A gem of that value could have supported the people for a month, maybe even more. How could you sell such a rare treasure for so little in a time of such dire need?" The king became upset by their words. With sadness in his heart and tears in his eyes, he calmly replied, "I knew what I was doing and what I gave, and what pain and sorrow I must endure. If wealth brings peace to the heart, what use is the gem of the ring was not to glorify myself, but to ease the pain of my people. Let others rejoice in their treasures. I find joy only in the relief of others." When the king's close advisers heard this response, they were moved. They joined him in prayer, begging God for mercy and rain. Then all the people of the city came together in a vast field to pray. With hope in their hearts and tears in their eyes, they raised their hands toward the sky. They prayed fervently and sincerely, asking God to relieve them from drought and hardship. And once more, the king, along with his companions, engaged in prayer. After he finished, he turned to the people and said, "My dear friends, always remember, when hardship comes, a servant's duty is to serve his people. I handed over the ring to remind myself and all of you that the true value of wealth lies in its service to others. The people have entrusted the government to us, so that we may work for them and strive for the well-being of this land. We must fight through hardships. Just as the people have always stood by us in every difficulty and battle, we too must stand with them in times of disaster and sorrow. We must never, even for a moment, forget the pain and suffering of the poor." Poetry translation. If the king sleeps peacefully upon his throne, let him not think the poor sleep with ease. and if he enjoys the luxury of long, calm nights, the people will be bitter in their unrest.